Did you know that 45% of homes in Florida are in gated communities? And that's the highest percentage in the nation. And only 42% like their HOAs. Imagine that. It's only getting worse here in Florida. Every community that is built now comes with an HOA, and that means there's a lot more stupid rules to follow. So people are taking legal action more and more against their HOA communities. And when you find out why, you are going to be shocked. Hey, I'm Laurie Rose. Welcome to my channel. And if you've been here before, welcome back. So I'm guessing that, like me, you live in an HOA community. I moved into my community 5 years ago, and it was the first time I encountered living in an HOA community. I have to tell you, the first encounter I had with them was not a warm and fuzzy welcome to the neighborhood. We moved into our community on a Tuesday. It was around 3 o'clock. We had our pod delivered around 4. And by 4 o'clock the next day, we had unloaded it and the pod was gone. And then on Thursday, I get an email from my association saying that I violated the rules of the association. I didn't get permission first to park a pod on my driveway. Seriously, instead of welcoming me to the neighborhood, my neighbors threw me under the bus. Nice neighbors. And believe it or not, even though the pod was gone, they made me fill out that form to get permission to have the pod overnight on my driveway, even though it wasn't there anymore. Like, so stupid. And my story isn't even the worst. People get fined for having the wrong color flowers or leaving their Christmas decorations up too long. But before we get into those, let me tell you about another insane HOA story. HOAs, they love to enforce those ridiculous rules. And one of their favorite things to control? Parking. Some, like mine, don't allow overnight parking. It's a bit annoying, but it's okay. Others go to extreme measures. I have a friend that lives in an HOA. He's not even allowed to park in his own driveway overnight. So if you have a pickup truck, make sure you buy a house or a condo that your pickup truck can fit into, because a lot won't let you park overnight outside, which is crazy. Motorcycles, some communities don't even let you drive your motorcycle in the neighborhood. It's nuts. And it gets crazier. I have a friend that lives in a gated condo community with assigned parking spaces. Her association will tow any car that's left overnight that has not been registered as a guest. Can you imagine going over to your friend's house, maybe having a little bit too much to drink, you decide to do the responsible thing, spend the night, you wake up the next morning, go to get your car, it's been towed. And this community, they check every morning to make sure that each car is registered. HOAs tell you, oh, our rules are here to help increase and protect our home values. Well, is that really true? Wait till you hear what my friend's HOA president did. Her fine, happy HOA president would walk the community every day looking for whatever violation she could find. She even fined my friend for starting up a Facebook community page. The homeowners, they had enough. They started hiring lawyers and demanding answers. And they didn't want to pay their fines because they felt that they were targeted and unfairly fined. Still, they knew that if they didn't pay the fines, the community could put a lien on their property and they even could get foreclosed on. And when they finally confronted the management company, what they found out was shocking. The homeowners' fines were without merit. The association had to refund all of the unjust fines, plus pay for any of the legal fees that the homeowners had incurred. Even crazier, they found out $25,000 of their association funds were used in 1 year for legal fees that were not approved. And things aren't getting any better regarding HOAs, that's for sure. Legal cases about HOA fines have increased 25% in the last 2 years, and 40% of homeowners say that the fines are unfair. Here are some crazy rules people have been fined over. Not having green grass during a drought. Planting the wrong color flowers. Seriously? Don't put your garbage cans out too early or forget to bring them back in time, because you're gonna get fined for that. Having your Christmas tree visible in your window, including your back window in your backyard. Stupid. And don't ever paint your house the wrong color. That's a fine for sure. And you're gonna get a fine if you remove a dead tree without permission. And these are just the top things that people get fined for. And I'm sure you could add a lot to this list. So is your HOA really protecting your home value, or are they just a power-hungry rule maker? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And there's more drama to come. Make sure you subscribe to my channel to see my next videos. I'll see you next time. Bye.